I'm having trouble. You're probably getting bored to death listening to it. Okay. So they're all calculated, but this gives you the hours, minutes, second to the next GMT, 4:53. Okay. Let me go ahead to sample 6. And there's rounds off. Samples. We just did sample. No, sample 6 was Toronto, was what we were doing, minus the 18 minutes. Make the adjustment. We get the 1453, find out the number of days that is. We add that number of day to the day number of your year, and you got it. You got your progress constant date. This one, another Toronto, October 4th. Eastern Standard Time, 6:15. So Eastern Standard Time, so it's staying 6:15. And since it's Toronto, we're going to take off the 18 minutes. We're going to end up with 6 would have been 18. It comes to 17:53. In Greenwich Mean Time is 23:15. And midnight ephemeris, October 4th, 2015, 23:15. So we're going to take midnight of October 5th, which is going to be 11:60 p.m. October 4th, so 23:60. We subtract it, she's 45 minutes before the next midnight. So 45 minutes will just be no hours, 11.4 days. So days to the next 11.4 days, and we're going to add 11.4 days to our birth date, 277. We get 288.4, which is going to be October 15th. That's her progress constant date. Okay, her birthday is October 4th, but her progress constant date is October 15th. Sample 8, I think this is the only 2 samples left. How are we doing for that? Oh, we're right on time. Okay, good. This is Pakistan. It's using Russian 4 time. It's using exact 5 hour, like the opposite of Eastern Standard Time. It's on the other side, but it's 8 p.m. at 74. So we'll just go over. So it's the same thing no matter where you are in the world. You've got the time standard. When you know the time standard is going to be 75 degrees. It's in Lahore, so it's less than a degree away, 18 minutes away, which becomes 42 minutes, closest to 0.75, so 3 minutes of time. So it's 3 minutes of time west of the time standard, so the sun will rise at the time standard, and then it'll be 3 more minutes before it rises at Lahore. So you're going to take 3 minutes off the time standard to get the local mean time, 7:57. And the Greenwich will be the Greenwich time will be 5 hours away, which ends up being 3 o'clock. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah, and it's before, because it's east. Greenwich, it rises. Sun rises in Lahore. It's still dark in England. So you have to subtract the 5 hours, the 4:57, and you get the 3 hours to get the Greenwich Mean Time. Then that's 3 hours. Is 21 hours to the next GMT, to the next listing. And when you get 21 hours to the next GMT, you calculate 21 hours, 319.6 days. There's no minutes, so it's just that. Yeah, 319.6 days. And I'm just explaining it for the midnight. The noon is in the blue below. But you take the day, February 18th, February 17th is day 48 at 319.6 days, minute at 367.2. So January 2nd is the progress constant date for this chart. And I just added one more, I think, on here, just Pope Francis, is because it's Southern Hemisphere. But it's no really difference from the Southern Hemisphere, no flipping around to do with this. It's at 9 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Saving Time. So it's really 8 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, December 17th. Okay, 8 p.m. So it's Buenos Aires is east of the time standard, 6 minutes east. It's going to rise before the sun will rise in Buenos Aires before the time standard. So it's ahead. So you're going to add the 6 minutes to the time standard to get the local mean time. So you're getting but to see it's 6 minutes to get the local mean time, but to get to the interval to Greenwich Mean Time, you have to subtract the 5 hours and the 4 hour. Oh, there's a mistake. I did a mistake on this one. ADT is 60 degrees, and I calculated 60. That's correct, but I assumed a 5 hour. I made it 5 hours. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 4 hours. Okay, I'm losing it. 9 p.m. 8 p.m. standard time. 8 p.m. and we take off. 8 p.m. plus 4. It should be 3:54. This. So, okay. So this one's wrong. I'm not going to go into this further. But that's a number of examples to go through the Prog Constant Date. You need to get that. You need to copy it down from here. I'm going to be sending you the. I'm not sending you these sheets. If you need them, take a screenshot of it or write it down. Next week, we're going to set up the ephemeris with the constant date, so it's easy to get the progressed phenomena to the exact dates and what year in your life it's happening at, what day in your life it's happening at. So you want to try and download, go to astro.com and find the 9,000 year ephemeris, go find the 20th century, and then look up your year and download those ones. And if you're born in October, November, December, make sure you get the next year so you have enough to get 100 days after you're born of the ephemeris. Okay, so we're starting. It's only the first couple of sections that we have to organize this. It's a little bit more of a bit of a brain twister to do it. Next week, we're going to set up the ephemeris, and I'm going to show you how to do this stuff on the computer and how to get this stuff, some of this information on the computer, so you can bypass some of this. But I still would do the ephemeris first before I would use, if I had the time, before using the computer. I used to always, for all my charts, I would have the chart and I'd have the ephemeris for the 4 months after birth kept as my file for my clients. And every time they come back to see me, I'd always have the progressions right there. Or I'd have to be using the ephemeris and just looking ahead and counting. Okay, that's it for now. If you have questions in the format of the webinars, it was difficult to get questions happening in the middle of the session or in the middle of the classes. So you can send me an email if you have questions, and I'll try and deal with them. Either if it's relevant to everybody, I'll deal with it in the next class, or I'll send something back to you, and we'll work it from there. I just want to welcome Stan and Debbie for joining in. Okay, thank you. Bye. That's this.